Carla Clifford and the Three Hooting Rats. Once upon a time there was a little girl called Carla Clifford. She was on the way to see her Maud Chen, when she decided to take a shortcut through Snotchester Forest. It wasn't long before Carla got lost. She looked around, but all she could see were trees. Nervously, she felt into her bag for her favorite toy, Dolly, but Dolly was nowhere to be found. Carla began to panic. She felt sure she had packed Dolly. To make matters worse, she was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, she saw a hooting rat dressed in a purple jumper disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Carla. For the want of anything better to do, she decided to follow the peculiarly dressed rat. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Carla reached a clearing. She found herself surrounded by houses made from different sorts of food. There was a house made from parsnips, a house made from muffins, a house made from sweets, and a house made from cupcakes. Carla could feel her tummy rumbling. Looking at the houses did nothing to ease her hunger. "Hello," she called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Carla looked at the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting, in a time of need. A cackle broke through the air, giving Carla a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the houses. She was carrying a cage. In that cage was Dolly. "Dolly!" shouted Carla. She turned to the witch. "That's my toy." The witch just shrugged. "Give Dolly back!" cried Carla. "Not on your Nelly," said the witch. "At least let Dolly out of that cage." Before she could reply, 3 hooting rats rushed in from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Carla recognized the one in the purple jumper that she'd seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize him too. "Hello, big rat," said the witch. "Good morning." The rat noticed Dolly. "Who is this?" "That's Dolly," explained the witch. "Ooh. Dolly would look lovely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the rat. The witch shook her head. "Dolly is staying with me." Excuse me," Carla interrupted. "Dolly lives with me. And not in a cage." Big Rat ignored her. "Is there nothing you'll trade?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I do like to be entertained. I'll release him to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Rat looked at the house made from cupcakes and said, "No problem, I could eat an entire house made from cupcakes if I wanted to." "That's nothing," said the next rat. "I could eat 2 houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat 1 front door and I'll let you have Dolly." Carla watched, feeling very worried. She didn't want the witch to give Dolly to Big Rat. She didn't think Dolly would like living with a hooting rat, away from her house and all her other toys. The other 2 rats watched while Big Rat put on his bib and withdrew a knife and fork from his pocket. "I'll eat this whole house," said Big Rat. "Just you watch." Big Rat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from muffins. He gulped it down smiling, and went back for more. And more. And more. Eventually, Big Rat started to get bigger, just a little bit bigger at first. But after a few more forkfuls of muffins, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. I don't feel too good," said Big Rat. Suddenly, he started to roll. He'd grown so round that he could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried, as he rolled off down a slope into the forest. Big Rat never finished eating the front door made from muffins and Dolly remained trapped in the witch's cage. Average Rat stepped up, and approached the house made from sweets. "I'll eat this whole house," said Average Rat. "Just you watch." Average Rat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from sweets. She gulped it down smiling, and went back for more. And more. And more. After a while, Average Rat started to look a little queasy. She grew greener, and greener. A woodcutter walked into the clearing. "What's this bush doing here?" he asked. "I'm not a bush, I'm a rat," said Average Rat. "It talks!" exclaimed the woodcutter. "Those talking bushes are the worst kind. I'd better take it away before somebody gets hurt." "No. Wait!" cried Average Rat, as the woodcutter picked her up. But the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the rat away under his arm. Average Rat never finished eating the front door made from sweets, and Dolly remained trapped in the witch's cage. Little Rat stepped up, and approached the house made from cupcakes. "I'll eat this whole house," said Little Rat. "Just you watch." Little Rat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from cupcakes. He gulped it down smiling, and went back for more. And more. And more. After 5 or 6 platefuls, Little Rat started to fidget uncomfortably on the spot. He stopped eating cupcakes for a moment, then grabbed another forkful. But before he could eat it, there came an almighty roar. A bottom burp louder than a rocket taking off, propelled Little Rat into the sky. "Ugh!" cried Little Rat. "I'm scared of hay." Little Rat was never seen again. Little Rat never finished eating the front door made from cupcakes, and Dolly remained trapped in the witch's cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep Dolly." "Not so fast," said Carla. "There is still one front door to go. The front door of the house made from parsnips. And I haven't had a turn yet." "I don't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game. My rules." The woodcutter's voice carried through the forest. "I think you should give her a chance. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch. "But you saw what happened to the rats. She won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Carla. "What?" said the witch. "Where's your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted Dolly back." Carla ignored the witch and gathered a hefty pile of sticks. She came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully, she broke off a piece of the door of the house made from parsnips and toasted it over the fire. Once it had cooked and cooled just a little, she took a bite. She quickly devoured the whole piece. Carla sat down on a nearby log. "You fail," cackled the witch. "You were supposed to eat the whole door." "I haven't finished," explained Carla. "I am just waiting for my food to go down." When Carla's food had digested, she broke off another piece of the door made from parsnips. Once more, she toasted her food over the fire and waited for it to cool just a little. She ate it at a leisurely pace, then waited for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Carla was down to the final piece of the door made from parsnips. Carefully, she toasted it and allowed it to cool just a little. She finished her final course. Carla had eaten the entire front door of the house made from parsnips. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must have tricked me," she said. "I don't reward cheating." "I don't think so," said a voice. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing, carrying his axe. "This little girl won fair and square. Now hand over Dolly or I will chop your broomstick in half." The witch looked horrified. She grabbed her broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Carla hurried over and grabbed Dolly, checking that her favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Dolly was unharmed. Carla thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried on to meet Maud. It was starting to get dark. When Carla got to Maud's house, her threw her arms around her. "I was so worried," cried Maud. "You are very late." As Carla described her day, she could tell that Maud didn't believe her. So she grabbed a napkin from her pocket. "What's that?" asked Maud. Carla unwrapped a doorknob made from muffins. "Pudding," she said. Maud almost fell off her chair. The end.